Do you feel the vibes?
Hello students, today I want to explain the chapter first, that is crop production and management, and we will revise this chapter. As you know, what is agriculture? Actually, the production, processing, marketing of food that comes from the plants, that is known as agriculture. Okay, our agriculture is the branch of science which deals with the uh, growing of plants, you can say that. Agriculture practices, you have heard this word also. So all the activities to be performed in correct sequence for giving a crop, that is known as agriculture practices. Okay, have you heard about the animal husbandry? Actually, animal husbandry is the branch of agriculture that deals with the raising and rearing of animals for food production. Okay, and crop. Do you know what is crop? Actually, the plants that are cultivated in the field, that are crop, means the same type of plant that are cultivated in the field. Okay, now agriculture implements. The implements means the tools which are required for agriculture, that are known as agriculture implements. Okay, chaff, you have heard about the chaff word, chaff, means outer covering of seed or grains along with small pieces of stem or leaves produced during threshing, that is chaff. The chaff is used as a fodder for the animals. And fertilizers, these are the chemical substances which are added to a particular nutrient, which are added a particular nutrient to the soil. So these are the chemical substances. Okay, then crop, you know that crop contains that GDP word. GDP means gross domestic product. GDP, gross domestic product. Okay, that is GDP. Actually, that GDP is gross domestic product, and the total value of all goods and services produced by a country in 1 year, that is known as GDP. Okay, and the crops are of two types. These crops may be kharif or rabi. So kharif crop and rabi crops are grown in different seasons, and actually in summers the kharif crop is grown, and those which are grown in winter, that is known as rabi crop. Okay, manure, you know that manure are added to the soil, and it will be giving a nutrient to the crop. Okay, and that manure is also a natural substance. It will provide nutrient to the substance, but it does not provide a specific nutrient, while the fertilizers provide the specific nutrient. Then have you heard about the word tilling? Tilling or plowing? Tilling, or you have heard about that? Plowing, both are same. Tilling or plowing, that both are same. Actually, this tilling process is that process of loosening and turning the topsoil for agriculture, that is known as plowing. The turning and loosening of the soil, you can say that. Okay, so that is tilling or plowing. Next word, that weeds. Do you know what are weeds? Weeds are unwanted plants, unwanted or undesirable plants which are grown in field. Means we are not growing them, they can grow by their own. So that are known as unwanted plants, and they will compete for food, for light, each and everything from our main crop. Okay, so these are the different terms that you have heard about them. Now we can write that something like that. Crop, do you know what is crop? So you can write plants that are cultivated in the field, plants which are cultivated in the field, or same type of plant that are cultivated in the field are known as crop. Okay, so that crop may be of two types of crop, two types of crops are there: kharif crop or rabi crop. Okay, kharif and rabi crop, and these crops will be grown in different seasons. Like, though that crop which will be grow in winter season is known as rabi crop, and the crop which will be grow in summers, so that is kharif crop. Okay, winter season, you know that which crop will grow: wheat, example wheat, and in summer that barley. Okay, and some other crop also like the barley. Okay, so these are the different things. Now, have you heard about the weeding? Do you know what is weeding? That removing of weeds from the field, so that is known as weeding. Weedicides, weedicides are the mainly weedicides are the chemical substances which are used to kill the weeds. Okay, 2,4-D, this one is the weedicide. So these are the different terms that you heard in this chapter. Okay, now that what is agriculture, you can write the definition of agriculture also. What is agriculture? Agriculture. So what is agriculture? You can write that agriculture means the production, marketing of the food, the production, marketing of the food, the production and marketing, the production, marketing and processing of the food, the production, processing and marketing of the food. Okay, that comes from plant, that comes from plants. Okay, so that is agriculture. Got it? Or agriculture, you can say that the branch of science that deals with the growing of plants and raising livestock to human use. Okay, so that crop I told you, producer means product obtained from a crop, that is producer. Producer, product obtained from a crop, that is known as producer. Okay, have you heard about the word apiculture? Apiculture means rearing of honeybees on large scale, that is known as Apiculture. Apiculture, rearing of honey bees on large scale. On large scale. Okay. Now, next term, have you heard about that PC culture? PC culture means rearing of fish on large scale. PC culture. PC culture means rearing of fishes on large scale. Okay. And next term, have you heard about the different terms that may be sericulture, rearing of silk, mainly rearing of silkworm on large scale. So that is sericulture. Okay. So these are the different terms that you are just learn, and you will learn that. Now plowing and tilling, you know that what is plowing, what is tilling. So the process of loosening and turning of the soil is called tilling. You can write that, tilling, or that tilling process is also known as plowing. Okay. So tilling is also known as plowing. That you should aware about it. So tilling, or it will be known as plowing. The turning and loosening of the soil. Okay. So you can learn that the process of loosening and turning of the soil. The process of loosening and turning of the soil. Turning of the soil. Okay. That is known as tilling or plowing. These are the same terms. Got it? Sowing, you know that sowing, the process of putting the seeds in the soil, that is known as sowing. So you can write that sowing also. What is sowing? The putting of seeds into the soil, that is known as sowing. When we will put the seeds into the soil with the help of hand or with the help of machine, so that is known as sowing. If we will put the seed with the help of hand, then it is known as broadcasting. We will scatter the seed with the help of hand, and if we will use the machine, then that is seed drill. Okay. Now next is following. Have you heard this word also, following? What is following? You can write these definitions. If you have not written, pause the video and write them, and just revise these terms. Okay. Because these terms are important for you. If you understood these terms, then you can give the answers. Okay. So now you can write the another term. So that is following. Following means the process of leaving the field uncultivated for one or more seasons. So that is following. Means in that process we should leave the field for one season or for more seasons. So it can renew it. So that the term, that is known as following. Okay. So that is following. You can write that following. Following means the process of living, or you can write the practice of living, the practice of leaving the field, the practice of leaving the field uncultivated, leaving the field uncultivated for one or more seasons. So that is fallowing. Okay, you know that fallowing is necessary for that purpose, that we should replenish our soil. Okay, now that manuring, you know that process of adding manure to the soil, that is known as manuring. Okay, what is manuring? You can write that also. The process of adding manure to the soil. So that is manuring. The process of adding manure to the soil. Okay. Adding manure to the soil. So that is manuring. Okay. Next process that we should aware about, that manure. You know that manure is an organic substance obtained from decomposition of plants and animals waste. So you can write that also. What is manure? What is manure? Write that. Manure and an organic. Organic means related to living organisms. Okay, so manure and organic substance obtained from decomposition of plant and animal waste. Decomposition of plant and animal waste. That is known as manure. Do you know what is fertilizer? Actually, fertilizer, chemical substance rich in a particular nutrient. You know that three type of the fertilizers are there. Main NPK, NPK, nitrogen based fertilizer, phosphorus based fertilizer and potassium based fertilizer. And NPK, these nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, these are important for the growth of the plant. These nutrients are very important. So these are known as macronutrients because they will provide the growth, and mainly they will form the protein in the plant also. So the growth of the plant depends on these three nutrients. Okay, so let us write that fertilizer. What is fertilizer? It is a chemical substance. Here manure is an organic substance because it will be obtained from the living organisms, mainly decomposition of living organisms and their excreta or waste. Okay, so that is what fertilizer is. Inorganic. Inorganic means it is a chemical. So chemical substance rich in chemical substance rich in a particular nutrient. Okay, in a particular nutrient means specific nutrient will be provided by the fertilizers. It will be provide the nitrogen base, means if there will be the lacking of nitrogen in that soil, so it will provide nitrogen to that soil. Okay, if phosphorus is not there, then it will provide phosphorus or phosphate fertilizer. Okay, so like that it will provide a specific nutrient to the soil. After that there will be a term, that is the crop rotation. Do you know what is crop rotation? Actually, the practice of growing different crops in different seasons in rotation, so the soil is not depleted of its nutrient. So that is known as crop rotation. Okay, now next is irrigation. You know that watering of plants, that is known as irrigation, or supplying water to the crops in the field in a specific intervals. So that is known as irrigation. You can write that irrigation also. So let us rub this matter so that we can write. Okay. Now you know that the cod liver oil, which is obtained from the fish, that is rich in vitamin D, and the milk, eggs, and fishes, which are rich in proteins, that mainly coming from the mainly coming from the eggs, milk, and fishes. They are giving us proteins. So protein is also very necessary for our growth. Okay, you know that proteins are the food which will provide us growth. So that protein is responsible for the growth. Next, you know that meat is a rich source of fat and proteins. And do you know what is that animal husbandry? That you can also write that animal husbandry. Animal husbandry is the rearing of animals on large scale. So you can write that animal husbandry. Animal husbandry, rearing of animals on large scale by feeding, breeding them. Okay, or you can write that also. Animal husbandry is the rearing of animals on large scale with proper food, shelter, and care. Okay, with proper food, shelter, and air. Okay, so that is uh, care, not air. So that is proper food, shelter, and care. We will provide care to the animal. So that is animal husbandry. Okay. Now next we want to take the weeds. You know that unwanted plants, that unwanted or uncultivated plants that grow along with the crop. Okay, so we can write weeds also. Undesirable, sometimes these are called undesirable plants. Okay, means we are not growing them, they will grow by their own, and they will compete with the food, sunlight, each and everything which we will give for our main crop. So you can write that weeds, unwanted and uncultivated, unwanted and uncultivated uncultivated plants, okay, that grow along plants that grow along the crop plants. Along with the crop plants. Along with the crop plants. Okay. Weeding, you know that. Weeding is the removal of weeds from a field. You can write that weeding. Weeding. Removal of weeds from a field. That is known as weeding. Do you know, before sowing we should just select the seeds? How we can select the healthy seeds, that seeds are healthy? How we can select? We just take the full bucket of water and pour the seeds into the bucket if we have seeds. Okay, now what's happened? The seeds which are not perfect, they are vacant from inside and they will be eaten by some insects that maybe float on the water, and other seeds are sinked into the water. The seeds which are floating in the water, we should remove these seeds, and the seeds which are already sink into the water, these seeds are healthy. So we can grow these seeds by using this method. So we can select the seeds by using this method. Okay, so before sowing the seeds we have to select the healthy seeds. So by this method we can select the healthy seed. Now you can write that next crop rotation. Next term, crop rotation. You can write that crop rotation. So in crop rotation, the practice of growing different crops, the practice of growing different crops, different crops, the practice of growing different crops in different seasons, in different seasons, in rotation, in different seasons, in rotation, in rotation, so the in rotation, so the soil, so that the soil is so that so that the soil, so that you can write the soil, so that the soil is not depleted on its of its nutrient, so that the soil is not depleted its nutrient. Okay, not depleted of its nutrients. That is known as crop rotation. Okay, irrigation, you know that watering of plants or supplying of water, supply water to the crops. Okay, so that will write. We can write the another term, that is irrigation. So we can write that irrigation. Supplying means supply. Okay, so irrigation means supplying water to the crops, supplying water to the supplying water to the crops in the field at specific intervals. In the field at specific intervals. So that is known as irrigation, mainly supplying of water to the crop, that is known as irrigation. Now next I want to discuss the another term, that is weedicides. Weedicides. Actually, weedicides are the chemicals which are used to kill the weeds. So that is weedicides. Okay, so you can write the definition of weedicides, or these are the chemicals which are used to kill the weeds. Okay, so next you can write the weedicides. Weedicides means the chemicals which destroyed the chemicals which destroy the chemicals which destroy the weeds, destroy the weeds. But what they will do, they will not harm our main crop, they will destroy only weeds. Okay, so the chemicals, you can write the chemicals which destroy the weeds but do not harm the crops. Okay, but do not harm the crops, harm the crops. Actually they will not harm to our main crop. Okay, so these are known as weedicides. Okay, 2,4-D like butachlor, these are the weedicides, these are the weedicides. And just next one we can take the another topic, another term, that is harvesting. So harvesting means what is harvesting? What is harvesting? Do you know what is harvesting? You can write that harvesting also. When crops becomes cutting these crops, so the process of cutting off crops from the field is known as harvesting, or you can say that the process of cutting and gathering of crops. Okay, the process of cutting and gathering the crops. The process of cutting and gathering the crops. So that is known as that is known as harvesting. Okay, means after maturation we will cut the crops from the field. So that process is known as harvesting. Okay, so and we will cut the crops and gather them, means we have to just make the bundles of them. So that is known as that harvesting. Okay, I would like to explain the winnowing and one more term that may be threshing. Okay, so winnowing. What is winnowing? Actually, the process of separating grains from the chaff with the help of wind. So that is known as winnowing. Now threshers are also coming with the help of thresher, the separating of grains from the harvested crop. So that is threshing. So you can write winnowing, the process of separating grains, the process of separating grains from chaff. Okay, so process of separating, the process of separating grains, okay, from chaff with the help of wind, from chaff with the help of wind. Nowadays we are using the threshers. Threshers are doing these harvesting as well as they are doing the work of winnowing also. Okay, so last term that few I want to discuss is threshing. So threshing is the process of separating grains from the harvested crops. So you can write threshing, the process of separating grains or seeds from the harvested crop. So that is known as threshing. Okay, so many terms we have discussed today, so please learn these terms. According to that you can understood what is these terms and what are the uses of these terms. You know that the basic agriculture activities undertaken in the crop production that are in sequence, that is the preparation of soil, then after that seed sowing, after that manuring, after manuring irrigation will be there, then weeding we should do, after that harvesting, and last one is storage. We can store these uh, grains or seeds, mainly cereals, to protect from the pest or insects from the moisture also. So we should store them in the different things, like we have to store them in the tanks or that many tankies will become, so tanks we can use them, store them. Okay, and some they will be just sell out, or some may be um, just use or store them for the next year. Okay, so these are the different things. Then how we will prepare the soil? It will require the plowing and leveling of the soil. After the sowing of the seeds may be done, when we will sow the seeds with the help of hand, then that is known as broadcasting. Okay, so what is broadcasting? Sowing of seeds uh, by hand. Okay, you can write that. Okay, sowing of seeds by hands, we will scatter the seeds with the help of hand, so that is known as broadcasting. Substance such as manures and fertilizers that are added to the field to provide nutrients to the good yield of the crop rotation is the method of replenish the soil fertility also. Okay, then harvesting is done manually by sickle or by using the machine that is known as threshers. You know that. Crop produced in dried before storage, we have to just dry these crops in the sun, under the sunlight, before the storing. Okay, and this is done to protect it from the microbes also. Milk, eggs, meat, honey and fish, these are the important food items obtained from the animals. So these are the main terms which we are doing in this chapter. Okay, now you can give the answers of these questions also. Name the implement used for weeding. Which implement you are using in weeding. Okay, name the implement which is used in harvesting. Name 5 food items obtained from the animals. You can give answers easily. Okay, so please learn all these things and read out the chapter. If you have any problem, then you can ask me in the doubt class. With this, I want to say that thank you. Have a nice day.